Hi everyone, my name's Victoria Turnbull and I'm partnering with the DFN Foundation to tell you about what it's like being a property developer. My role is in property development and I'm the joint managing partner of our business, and we develop commercial properties. So we do really big sheds and we do really little offices, and we do medium-sized offices, we do retail development, we do retail warehouses, so anything in the commercial sector we develop. And the reason I really like the job is because it touches so many different parts of people's lives. Because we do everything across the spectrum, we always say we build an envelope around someone's business. And so whenever we're working with a company, with an occupier, we'll go in first and foremost and we'll understand what they do. And when we understand what they do, we'll then design the building that they need within which to operate. And I find that side of it really fascinating because we touch so many different types of industry in what we do, not just property. We do energy businesses, we do retailers across the board, we work with logistics operators. It's fascinating and it's a really wide spectrum. Some of the hardest bits of my job are the fact that development takes a really long time. Any development that you do takes a minimum of 18 months, but I would say more like 2 to 3 years to develop a building. And so you have to be patient. You also have to be patient with people, because managing people's expectations, managing strong characters is something that's really pivotal to the role, and that can be really challenging at times, but you see it through, and it comes with the perks of why we enjoy the job, which is, again, it feeds off people, different people's characters, different people's jobs. But when we experience these difficult times in our job, what I like to do is to break things down into tiny little incremental parts. So imagine it like a mountain to climb, and how do I get up that mountain? And if you break it down step by step and just focus each time on each individual step, you'll get there. It might take you some time, but you'll get there. And so I like to break up these really big, enormous tasks into smaller things, and that really helps me keep focused, and it helps me achieve what I need to in my job. I got into my job through my dad, actually. He was an investment agent, and then he set up a property development business. And when I left school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. It was so confusing because there were so many different options for people out there. And I'm sure everyone says this to you guys all the time. The world is your oyster. And it's really confusing. And because of that, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was more of an all-rounder. I didn't have any kind of specific preference towards one individual subject. So I was really a bit lost. And my dad said, why don't you go and do some work experience? And so I did. I did some work experience when I was about 15, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. With some surveying companies in Birmingham, and really enjoyed it. And I thought from that moment on, you know what, this sounds good. I didn't really know where it was going to lead, but I'm so glad I did. I really am so glad I did. I adore what I do, and I think I'm really, really privileged to be in this role. So that's what got me into it. What kind of training did I do? So I did lots of work experience initially. I went to lots of exciting places. I did some work experience in Sydney. I did some work experience in Hong Kong. Birmingham, less so exciting, but it was fun, and London. So I went all over the place, worked for lots of different companies, and it was great. It was an amazing experience. And then I went to university and I studied at Reading University something called land management. So it can lead you into lots of different areas. You've got rural land management, you've got planning, or you've got property and development, which is what I did. And so that's how I got into it. And then you do 2 years of APC, where you have to work for a company, train up towards doing a further exam, and that's in front of a board of people. It's like an interview, so it's an apprenticeship, and then once you've got through that, you get your stripes, so you become a chartered surveyor, and from that moment on, you can do what you want. The world is your oyster. In terms of how many hours I work a week, I'd say it's very varied. It can be, so I only work 4 days a week, but those days can be, I'd say, a normal day of 8 hours a day. Sometimes it can be more than that, so it can be kind of 10 plus, if you've got a project that you need to get finished. But then other days I can take it easy and I don't have to, work really long hours. So it's quite varied, and it's led by the work, really. It's kind of project led. I've made loads of friends through the industry. I think it's a really sociable industry, actually. I think it's probably one of the most sociable industries. So I've met loads of really interesting people across all age spectrums, actually. But many of them I'm really proud to call my friends. So it is a very sociable industry, and you will meet lots of people through it. My first job, actually, I met lots of people in, which was an old company. It's gone into administration now, but I was a surveyor there, so I was a trainee surveyor and then became a graduate. And I worked there for, 5 years or so. Absolutely loved it. And actually, that's where one of the funniest things at work happened to me, because I was a graduate surveyor, sent out to go and measure lots of buildings. You do get the fun task when you're training. So I had to go and measure a retail unit, and I'd phoned up the day before, made access arrangements, went to go and get there. And anyway, long story short, I had to barter my way in because they didn't have any record of the inspection that I had booked. Proceeded to spend the whole day, so 8 hours, measuring this unit, which was really complex and took me hours that evening to work it out. Only to find out the next day when I got back to the office, no wonder they didn't have a record of me, because I had measured the unit next door to the building that I should have measured. So yes, that was quite funny. Lots of other funny things, but that's probably an appropriate one to share with you. Anyway, I won't bore you anymore, but advice if you want to go into property. I personally love my job, and I hope you can tell from what I've said to you. I think property in general is a really sociable industry, and if you are interested in it, then definitely work experience is your best thing to do initially. Go out there, get some work experience, find out what it's like, speak to people, talk to people you know in the industry, and try and understand it a little bit better, and see if you think it would be for you. But I really hope that this has been of interest, and really good luck with your journey. All the best.